you action figure enthusiasts out there. JC here, and welcome to a Monday edition of TNInews Live. And we've got a couple of different things to go over today. But before we jump into today's news, let's just do a quick roll call, see who is in the house. So we've got Austin Bird in the house. Happy Monday to you. We've got a new action figure enthusiast member, Stout Stag. Thank you for becoming an action figure enthusiast member. Thank you to everyone who's become action figure enthusiast members. When we hit 50 action figure enthusiast members, we will do another giveaway with the wheel, giving away $100 store credit to Big Bad Toy Store. So link in the video description if you're interested or thinking about becoming an action figure enthusiast member. Pasiano 777, Monday, can't trust that day. John is in the house. Good to see you, my friend. Judge Dreads is in the house. Figure Fury, CJ Prime is in the house as well. Good to see you, my friend. John Brooks from Ireland, as always. Nice to see you from across the pond. Technodrome in the house. Good to see you. Quinn's Comics also here. Good to see you. And Phil Martinez is also here. So good to see everyone here. So let's just jump into today's news. And backtrack a little bit from last week. I didn't do a stream on Friday, but we did have some rather, I won't call it shocking news, at least not for me, at least. And I think if you listen to my streams, I don't think it was shocking to you as well. But we did finally get the official announcement from Hasbro that they have, in fact, extended the Marvel and Star Wars licenses, a new multi-year extension. So they didn't give a specific date for when the newest license agreement between Disney and Hasbro will end, but I'm guessing we will go through at least 2028, possibly even through 2030. But again, all they said was multi-year. But definitely Marvel Legends, Star Wars, Black Series Vintage Collection, and all the other Star Wars and Marvel stuff that Hasbro's been doing is not going away anytime soon. Which, despite what some people were saying just a few months ago, I tried to warn you guys that was not, that Hasbro giving up those licenses or losing those licenses was not going to be likely. So, again, that is confirmed. Now, last week they also held their first quarter financial call where they talked about tariffs. They claim that they have done a fairly decent job of strategically, preparing for the tariffs. Not that prices couldn't go up, but with Hasbro, they've diversified in a lot of things outside of just action figures. Board games was one thing they talked about, where those are primarily made here in the United States. Wizards of the Coast is something where, it's a huge revenue generator for them, and it is somewhat tariff resistant, the stuff that comes from Wizards of the Coast. So, those are the things they talked about. They also talked about, interestingly enough, they said, they might see, try and take advantage of the tariffs and expanding more in product releases outside of the United States. Meaning if it gets too expensive to make stuff here in the United States, they might focus more on international sales, which was something they kind of touched upon in their conference call last week. Trying to think what else. Anything else of significant relevance? No, I think that's probably it. Again, nothing specific about price increases, but I think a lot of that would just depend on how much longer the stuff with the tariffs drags out. So, but that is, again, the big news from last week, I would say, was the fact that we finally got the official announcement that Hasbro is, in fact, keeping Star Wars and Marvel for the foreseeable future. While we're on the subject of Marvel, we got to look at a new Lego set that is popped up somewhere. These images surfaced on social media. So our first look at a Fantastic Four movie product. So Fantastic Four versus Galactus. So supposed to be out June 1st, $60 is the price of it. So again, we're already starting to see Fantastic Four movie products. We've also I talked about this last week, but just a reminder, we've got 2 Marvel Legend pre-orders this week, 2 2-packs. So the first one will be this coming Wednesday, the Amazon exclusive Madam Mask and Crossbones 2-pack. That will go up on Amazon, of course, because again, it is an Amazon exclusive. That will go up on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, last week's pre-order, the She-Hulk figure and the Fantastic Four outfit, that was a strictly fan channel, so Amazon did not carry that one. A lot of people were wondering if Amazon was going to carry it, but no, they did not carry that particular one. Sometimes they carry some of the fan channel stuff, but in this particular case, they did not. But this one will only be Amazon, and again, that goes up on Wednesday. Now, the very next day on Thursday, we get our first 2-pack with the Thunderbolts. So there's 2 2-packs that Hasbro's announced, and that's all I've seen indication for. So I know people are wondering if we're going to get the other members of the Thunderbolts, and nothing I've seen would suggest that. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying it couldn't be like a store exclusive. I mean, I am pretty surprised we wouldn't be getting a new Winter Soldier, even though we've gotten tons of Winter Soldier figures already. But the 2-packs that we do know coming, the first one again going up on Thursday, Liono and Red Guardian. So I made up this little Thunderbolts poster with the figures. All we've gotten are the digital renders so far, but you do get the 2 head sculpts with Red Guardian. My guess is he doesn't wear his mask very much in the movie. And then Liono. And both of these guys we've gotten before from the Black Widow movie and such. But again, we are getting them. And then the second 2-pack will have the Sentry and the U.S. Agent figure, or Walker, Johnny Walker figure, which will go up the following week on May 8th. So that's next week's Marvel Legend pre-order. But this week, again, we get 2 Marvel Legend pre-orders, one on Wednesday and one on Thursday. And then, of course, Thunderbolts opens in theaters this weekend as well. CG Prime says, passing on. I'm pretty excited for Thunderbolts. I've heard pretty good things about it. I probably am going to go see it in the movie theater. Figure Fury, thank you very much, my friend. Always appreciated with the gift. But getting back to Thunderbolts, I'm actually pretty excited for that one. So I probably will go see Thunderbolts this weekend. Not opening day necessarily, but I'll probably go like on Saturday or something. I went and saw The Accountant 2 this past weekend, the Ben Affleck movie with the Punisher. I didn't think it was bad. I thought the first Accountant movie was better. The story overall was better than the first movie. This one was more action oriented. And the interplay between the 2 brothers was, I liked a lot in this movie, but just for overall story, I thought the first one was better. But I enjoyed it overall. If you're a fan of the first Accountant movie, you might want to check that one out. You could probably wait till it comes out on Amazon, which will probably be a few weeks. But again, I saw that this past weekend, and we'll plan on going to see Thunderbolts probably, like I said, this weekend sometime. Virtual Dave, good to hear from you from the UK. Still getting people checking in here. Prices going up with tariffs skyrocketing on imports. Lots of good are not being shipped to the U.S. already. Going to be seeing empty shelves, and inflation will remain regardless of tariff status. Definitely a good chance some of that. Definitely you're seeing a lot of the overseas e-tailers putting out notices that shipments to the US have been temporarily halted. So, if you pre-ordered something directly from a retailer overseas, you probably, unless it had already shipped, you probably are going to have to wait a while for it. As far as prices, yes, we've seen some price increases. We could see more. Um, those are all things that could be coming with the tariffs. Definitely not a fun situation as we've talked about before. CJ Prime would like a comic book based Winter Soldier. Well, we've actually gotten a few comic book based Winter Soldiers as well. Forget when the last one came out, but we've gotten Winter Soldier. Judge Dreads, I wonder if they will reissue Galactus. Um, Nothing I've seen would suggest that. If they did, I'm sure it would be similar to what they did with the Sentinel, a made to pre-order type thing on Hasbro Pulse. Maybe a little bit smaller or not, as detailed. I don't know how it would differ from the HasLab one. I'm sure it would differ some, but um, that to me would be the only possible. I won't say, in my opinion, that would seem the most likely outcome if they were to do another Galactus this year for the Fantastic Four movie. And honestly, with like the tariffs and everything, I don't even know if we're going to get, they may be waiting until they see what happens with all that before they do another made to pre-order or even another HasLab or something. GI Joe HasLabs usually come in the summertime. If we're still neck deep in with the tariff stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if Hasbro holds off on another HasLab until all of that settles. Hi from the UK. Hope you and your family are well. Same to you, mass figure collector. Always good to see folks from the UK piping in. Eric C. FF seems like it will be good. Was actually caring about the characters and stakes in recent trailer. Was never a huge FF reader, but I'll probably miss it in theaters due to family. Yeah, right now, I mean, nothing about Fantastic Four has me like, oh my god, this is gonna suck per se. But I'm actually more excited for Thunderbolts than I am for the Fantastic Four movie, and then we'll see where I am after I watch Thunderbolts. But like I thought the Captain America movie was okay, um, but not as good as I was hoping it would be. So Thunderbolts is kind of like, let's see if they do even better. Um, so that's kind of where I am right now with the movies. All right, let's continue on with the news. It's not a ton of news here going on since I talked to you guys last week, but let's see what else we got. So this literally was just posted. Bandai Namco, Dino Buckler, so Power Rangers related. Looks like that just went up for pre-order, $225 for that thing. Let's NECA this weekend for Alien Day, which was Saturday, announced this new deluxe suspended lab Xenomorph from the Romulus movie. So this right now is being offered only on NECA store, but I believe eventually will be available at other e-tailers. Cost of this one is $70, so it is definitely pretty expensive. So, but if you're an Alien fan, you might want to check that one out. Last week's Holathon. I think we had talked everything, but maybe PandaCon. The others we had talked about because they've been previewed. But PandaCon, which last time I checked was still available. So yeah, And I went to Target this weekend after I went to see the movie. I stopped by Target, and they had PandaCon. They had the tattoo and worm 2-pack. I think that one sold out online, but they had this one at my local Target. I didn't buy it, but they had it. I had these other Mirage comic figures, Old Man Raphael. So they were actually pretty well stocked on the turtle stuff. They even had the new cartoon Shredder figure that went up last week. I thought that was going to be pretty popular, but they had that sitting on the shelves at the physical store. We've got 2 more weeks of Target Holathon this Friday and then the following Friday. Now, the Holathon website, which is supposed to be for overseas people, they actually had listed the count figure. This is not a Target exclusive, but it will be available first at Target. So the Ultimate Sesame Street count figure. This I did not see this one at the store. Unfortunately, this is one I want to pick up myself, but I did not see it. But I have seen others who have found it in store, and it should go up for pre-order either this week or next. So we'll have to wait and find out. But again, we've got 2 more weeks of Target Holathon for stuff to get put up online. For you McFarlane folks, a couple of those Target exclusive figures have gone up finally on Target's website. Last time I checked, they were still available. So the Hour Man figure is available, the regular gold label version. There's a platinum edition version out there, but the gold label version is available uh, on Target's website. Also, the Green Arrow Connor Hawk figure. I saw this one actually at my physical Target this past weekend. Um, but again, it is now available online. So I know some people have been asking about the Bat Pod with Batman figure from the Christian Bale movies. That has started hitting physical stores, but it is not yet listed online. But I have seen people finding it at physical Target stores. Didn't see it at my local Target, but again, that this one is hitting physical Target stores. And at some point, I imagine they will make it available online. Hitting overseas, our new round of DC figures. We saw these announced at WonderCon. The DC Collector Edition Superman Strange Lives of Superman figure, along with a platinum version of Amazing Stories Superman Red. We also the red platinum versions of Guy Gardner and Mr. Terrific, and then the Hawk Girl figure with the platinum variant. Again, we're seeing overseas. So these come via the overseas retailer Sergeant Pepper's Hobby. I've seen these pop up on eBay as well, but again, only from overseas. So I don't think you would be able to get these. Even if you bought them from somebody overseas, they wouldn't be able to ship them to you right now. So I don't know when we'll see these released here in the U.S. But the Superman with the lion head's kind of funny. But again, those have started hitting overseas. What else do we got? Nothing on the Masters front. We already talked about the Hordak figure last week. Nothing really new on wrestling. Though I guess we did get a new AEW figure that went up on the Jazzwares website. This one's limited to 1 to 3,000. This is based on Mercedes Monet. I'm not really familiar with her, but $50. Let's see if it's still available. It is. So if you're into AEW and this is a wrestler you like, you might want to check that one out. Oh, and this John Cena figure that was offered I think this was offered at WrestleMania, went up for pre-order on Walmart's website this last Friday, $24.97, and looks like it's sold out. So that John Cena, heel Cena, is now sold out. Last final thing I really have for you guys is on Super7's ThunderCats front. These popped up from an overseas e-tailer. These have not been officially announced by Super 7 yet, but this does appear to be the next wave of Thundercat Ultimate figures. So King Liono, so yet another Liono figure for the line, with the King helmet. I guess both heads have the crown on. He comes with a staff, and then of course his sword, bear claw. He also gets a cape. So I assume pretty much it's the same Liono that we got before. Otherwise, and then the magician figure, so another bad guy to add to your collection, and Red Eye, which is probably going to be like a deluxe type figure. Looks like it's going to round out this wave. So I don't have any information. These might be going up for pre-order tomorrow. There is a listing on Entertainment Earth's Drop Zone page for Super 7 action figures. So it's possible these could be going up for pre-order tomorrow if you want to add them to your collection. Um, I don't know if I'll get these characters. Obviously, I'm collecting a lot of the Thundercat stuff from Super 7, but I have not gotten all the super obscure characters that they've done in the line, in part just because it's kind of pricey. So I don't. I'm kind of on the fence of whether I'll get. I definitely won't get the Liono. I don't need another Liono figure. I am thinking about getting the Liono with the light up eyes. That's available now at places like Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth. Actually, the one you see behind me there is the original Mattel one. I never got any of the Super 7 Liono figures, so but I might update my Liono at some point. But I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But that pretty much I think brings us up to date with the latest news. It's been fairly quiet. We're going into the end of the month. Only a couple days left in April. It's hard to believe it's already May, but and who knows what May is going to bring for us. But I should on Star Wars there will be some pre-orders on May the 4th. May the 4th be with you Sunday. So um, pre-orders are listed for that day from Hasbro for Star Wars. So a role play item, a helmet, and some figures. I think so. Look for that on Sunday. May the 4th is Sunday. Yeah, yeah. So look for that Star Wars Day, whatever you want to call it. Zom 2010, wish Target was still in Canada. Then again, when it was, they never had exclusives. Yeah, for Canada, your best bet is to either hit up Amazon Canada. They usually get all the Target, what's exclusive here at Target in the United States. Amazon Canada seems to always offer. GameStop in Canada also seems to offer a lot of those. So even though they're not available in Canada, you can still get those Target exclusives just through other retailers. Judge, I feel like I have saw two Fantastic Four movies that sucked already. Yeah, I can't say any of the Fantastic Four. I mean, they weren't horrible, but they weren't great either. You had 20th Century Fox. I mean, X Men was hit and miss. We had some really good X Men movies. We had some really bad X Men movies, but Fantastic Four was just kind of every time they did it. So we'll see how it goes with Marvel. Uh, Navinder, yes, it is. Started technically yesterday, but as far as like any kind of exclusives or new reveals, nothing has popped up as of yet. I think if you go into a physical GameStop store, you might be able to find some stuff on sale, maybe on their website too. I haven't really looked that closely. But yes, technically, we are knee deep in GameStop's McFarlane week. Supposed to get the Spawn exclusive variant figure that they showed at WonderCon is supposed to go up at some point, but as of right now, that has not yet happened. So, Asiano, they ever made the GI Joe classified Footloose figure look like they? Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really think he looked like Pedro Pascal, um, but I've seen other people make that comparison for Footloose. I will tell you, I was in a Barnes and Noble this weekend, and as I was I bought a couple of books, and as I was checking out, I kid you not, there was a Pedro Pascal coloring book up there, at the cash register. I was like, "What the frack?" Pedro Pascal coloring book. So I guess the man is super popular these days. Eric, I thought a Masters of the Universe release was expected today on Mattel Creations. We got the recent Hordak figure, but that's it. I do think maybe there was something at some point listed, but I think that got delayed. But no, there's no Masters of the Universe pre-orders on Mattel Creations today, um, and I'm not sure when the next one will be. There are some possible Mattel pre-orders coming on Thursday, I believe, but I don't know if they're Masters of the Universe related. I just know based on Entertainment Earth's Drop Zone page, there's a couple of different Mattel pre-orders listed on May 1st, but again, I don't know exactly what those will be. Eric said Super 7 maximizing that new Liono body, of course. Road Pig John says we'll pre-order the new Thundercats at Big Bad Toy Store. Nice. Yeah, if I do pre-order them, that's probably where I would pre-order them from. Red Eye is probably. Well, I don't know. The Magician. I don't know. I those two are maybes. Definitely not on Liono. I don't need another Liono. Setting him side by side with Tigra, and Tigra seems bigger. The new Liono body seems a little small to me. Yeah, like I said, I'm still using the Mattel Liono figure. So I asked somebody, I was like, what is the best version of Liono that is out there right now, like articulation wise and everything? And I was told the one with the red light up eyes is actually probably the best Liono that's been put out there so far. I'm going to display Footloose dead in my display because of who he looks like. Footloose was always like he was the surfer dude in the cartoon. He always talked like a surfer dude. Judge says tigers are bigger than lions. All right, well, like I said, we're kind of running short today, but just not a ton of news. I don't know, probably I have a feeling there's not going to be enough news to be here on Wednesday, so probably Friday would be the next video. And, we'll play it by ear, but like I say, it's kind of as we're going into the end of the month. I feel like May is going to be somewhat quiet, um, and not just because of necessarily tariffs. I just think May's kind of be not saying there definitely will be pre-orders, but I'm not aware of any live streams happening in May. I think the next like Marvel Legend live stream will probably happen in June, or at the earliest, the very end of May. So again, we do have May the 4th, so we'll get some pre-orders for Star Wars then. But after that, I'm not expecting much for Star Wars until San Diego Comic Con. Um, so I feel like May is going to be a somewhat quiet month, which might be good for your wallet. I don't know. I could be wrong. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong, and we'll get a shit ton of pre-orders. I don't know, But right now, I'm thinking May is going to be fairly quiet. And then as we get into the summer, as we get into June, heading into July with San Diego, then things will start to ramp back up. But I think we're going to leave it here today, even though, again, we're cutting a little bit early. But as always, guys, thank you for tuning in. Always much appreciated. Like I said, if I'm not back on Wednesday, I probably will be here on Friday. But I'll keep you posted. As always, guys, stay safe out there. And until next time, I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching today's video. Now, if you're new to the channel, please think about hitting that subscribe button. Also hit the bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. For all the latest action figure news, be sure to head over to ToyNewsEye.com, MarvelousNews.com, JediInsider.com, and TFormers.com. And remember, action figures are great,